So one of the questions we often get as a project manager is, what do you do, and doesn't a builder organise all of this? So does a builder organise? Does a builder, are we just doing what a builder does? Not really. Some builders will get involved in organising other trades, but what they don't do generally is sequence the works that well. And some of them possibly will, but generally they don't. Generally, they only organise other trades so they can they can get a kickback, and they get their friends involved. And that's not all builders, but that is generally how it works. So with things running that way round, you don't really have anybody working for you. What tends to happen with builders is that they're working to keep their mates busy, and they're focused on getting their markups on their equipment, on their materials and stuff like that. And look, there's nothing wrong with that, but if it's done properly, however, it is open to abuse if they want to abuse it. So the job of the project manager is to be impartial, but really to be on your side as the homeowner, and to come before the trades, to help you plan and decide and organise everything, so the builders can come in and do their job, or the different trades can come in and do their job. Generally, the trades like working with a project manager because they have to think less, and a lot of the trades don't like to. They don't like to think that much in the job because they're not charging for thought time. Generally, certainly if you're using smaller builders and smaller tradespeople, they don't have the infrastructure in place to have that layer of thought process that's gone into a lot of it. They just want to go in and do their job, whether it's a plasterer or an electrician or whatever it is. Generally, they want to be able to just go in and do their job, and the problems can come where they see their work starting and somebody else's work stopping. So you need to have a way of compensating for that and accounting for that, and who comes in. So if you're using a main builder, a general contractor that has different trades that work for them, they will manage some of that work, but often they don't have often it's managed more ad hoc. Nothing's written down, and then the discrepancies can creep in. What a project manager should do is understand what the scope is from the customer, from you, and then get everything written down on what the various trades are actually quoting for. The more detail you can have in that, the more accurate the price is, and the less unknowns there are. There's always going to be unknowns because there's going to be things that you uncover when you start doing intrusive works that you didn't know before. So you might not know exactly how you're going to run pipe work and electrical services and waste pipes until you start lifting floorboards. You could come across problems because you don't know exactly what's under the floor. You can have a guess at which way the joists are going, but you don't know what else is under there, and how much room always you have, and all these other things. So there's still going to be risk, there's still going to be unknowns, but the The job of the project manager is to help you navigate that risk, help to remove the unknowns. Maybe you do some invasive works prior, such as lift floorboards, to understand this kind of thing. Anywhere that a builder is quoting and there's risk, they will load that onto their quote to allow for the risk. If they're an experienced and a good builder, I guess. If the tradesperson isn't that experienced, they're going to get to a point and they're going to say, I hadn't quoted for this, I hadn't allowed for this, which you get quite regularly, and you still get it with larger contractors. Ultimately, you're very rarely going to find somebody that's going to want to assume all of the risk without charging for it up front. So there's always going to be unknowns, and that's kind of what a project manager would help you navigate and understand versus a builder. And also a builder, what is their trade? They build houses, but are they able to understand what you want and turn that into the finished result? So that's kind of why you might use a project manager versus a builder. And is it going to cost you more to use a project manager? Well, there's somebody else to pay, but a project manager should help you deliver the project more cost effectively. They should help you keep it to the budget, keep it to a timescale, help you, understand the budget and the timescale for a start. They can show you where things are going to, where you might be able to save money. And, if things aren't sequenced correctly, you can end up with trades not doing a lot of work, waiting for other things to happen. And that's one of the big risks that certainly myself as a project manager always tries to reduce. And then when you get into the into the project, when problems emerge, you need to solve them quickly, because the last thing you want is a tradesperson standing around that can't work, because they're still going to want to be paid. And that's where the time overruns and the budget overruns come from. So you need somebody that is accountable to that and is, that is willing to manage that, navigate that, be accountable for it, take ownership of that process. And you want somebody also that can explain everything to you in plain English, because it's unlikely that you're a builder. It's unlikely that you've done this many times. So you need somebody that's actually paid to be able to answer some of them questions. Builders often won't allow for that type of service, and if they do, they won't put it in their quotes in a way that helps you to understand why it's there. Why is there extra cost? Why is there the cost between two builders that on the face of it look like they're doing the same thing? No, their quotes may be wrong. Their quotes may account for more answering your questions. They may account for other things. Often the quotes that you get from builders are not that precise. They're not that detailed. So there's a lot of guesswork goes in, and where there's guessing, there's risks. So again, that's what we try to avoid. But it's up to you who you use, whether you use a project manager or come for a service like us, or you go with a main contractor, or you employ the trades individually yourself.